Does it make you uncomfortable to look at yourself from the side or wear your hair up because you feel your neck makes you look older? Well, today you will discover why thousands of women are using a simple 3-minute trick with petroleum jelly before going to sleep so that the neck looks firmer, more hydrated, and with fewer wrinkles in just a few hours. And at the end, I will reveal the most common mistakes when applying it that can waste all its benefits. Before we dive in, take a moment to subscribe to this channel and tell me in comments, where are you watching from today? Let's begin. Many people discover something too late. The neck ages differently than the face. The skin in that area is more delicate, produces less natural oil, and is also in constant movement throughout the entire day. We turn our heads, look down, sleep on our side, use scarves, eye collars, jewelry. All of that generates friction and movement continuously. That is why many times a woman feels that her face still looks quite good, but the neck starts to change before other areas. And that is when small insecurities begin that almost nobody talks about. There are women who stop wearing certain up hairstyles. Others avoid necklines, necklaces, or even taking side profile pictures because they feel the neck steals all the attention. And although it may seem like something small, it can greatly affect how a person feels in front of the mirror. There are also early signs that many women start to notice. For example, the neck may look more tired at the end of the day. Some lighting makes the lines much more noticeable. Face makeup starts to create contrast and makes the neck look less even than the face. There are even people who feel the neck looks dull, even though the skin on the face still has glow. Has it happened to you that you get ready, put on makeup, look at yourself from the front and feel good, but then you turn a little and feel that the neck does not reflect the same appearance? That happens much more than people imagine. Before continuing, write firm neck. If starting today, you want to begin taking much better care of the skin on your neck, good. And this is where petroleum jelly starts to attract so much attention from many women. Not because it magically transforms the skin from one day to the next, but because it helps the neck look more comfortable and visually rested after spending so many hours protected during the night. Many people notice simple but important changes. The neck looks with more natural glow. The texture seems less tired, and the skin stops looking so dull under certain lighting. Some women even comment that the neck starts to look more filled out visually when it stops looking so thin or so dull. And although they may seem like small changes, they make a huge difference in how the skin is perceived. In addition, something that many people do not take into account is that the neck usually receives much less care than the face. There are people who use expensive creams, serums, sunscreen, and all kinds of treatments on the face, but the neck remains forgotten for years. And of course, over time, that difference starts to show. Because while the face receives constant attention, the neck spends entire days exposed to the sun, friction from clothing, perfumes, weather changes, and repetitive movements with practically no care at all. And speaking of that, there are daily habits that little by little end up affecting the neck much more. One of the most common nowadays is spending too much time looking downward. Cell phones, tablets, reading, computers. The skin remains folded in the same areas for hours. At first, those lines disappear quickly, but later they begin to remain visible even when the neck is relaxed. Have you noticed those horizontal lines that used to appear only when moving the neck and now seem to stay there even when you are still? And the most curious thing is that many people do not realize how much time they really spend in that position. Sometimes they are minutes that end up turning into hours every single day. checking messages, looking at social media, reading news, watching videos. The neck remains tilted forward much more than the body was used to years ago. And although it may seem like a small detail, the skin begins to fold exactly in the same spots over and over again. Over time, those marks stop being temporary and begin to remain visible even when the skin is relaxed. Subscribe to the channel if you want to continue learning useful tips about skin rejuvenation. But it is not only the cell phone. Daily posture also influences a lot. There are people who spend hours working, leaning forward, or looking at screens at an incorrect height. And little by little, the neck starts to look more tense, more stiff, and even more visually tired. Some women even comment that they feel the neck heavy at the end of the day, as if all the tension accumulated there without realizing it. Another detail that influences a lot is rest. Sleeping little or spending too much time under stress also ends up reflecting on the skin of the neck. There are days when that area simply looks more tired, more stiff, or with less brightness because during the night, the skin tries to recover from the wear of the day. And when rest is not enough, that also starts to become visually noticeable. Many women even notice that the neck looks different after weeks of a lot of stress or accumulated tiredness. And something interesting is that many times it is not necessary to have deep wrinkles for the neck to look older. Sometimes it is enough for the skin to lose freshness or brightness. When a person constantly sleeps poorly, the neck can start to look more dull, thinner, or even with a less even texture. Has it happened to you that after a bad week, you feel that the face and neck look much more tired, even though nothing else has changed? That happens a lot because the skin also reflects emotional exhaustion, tension, and lack of recovery. Stress even influences much more than most people imagine. When we live under tension, many times we clench the jaw, stiffen the neck, or accumulate muscular tension without realizing it. And that constant rigidity also ends up changing the visual appearance of that area. That is why there are days when the neck seems to look more marked or visually harder, especially after exhausting days or moments of worry. And something curious that many people begin to notice after a certain age is that some fabrics begin to irritate the neck more. Very tight collars, rough fabrics, or heavy accessories generate constant friction for hours. It seems insignificant, but over time, that repetitive friction can make the skin look less even. The same thing happens with some perfumes applied directly on the neck every day. Many times, people do not connect those small habits with the appearance of the skin until they start paying attention. There are women who even notice that certain clothes leave the neck more sensitive or more marked at the end of the day. And of course, by repeating constantly over the years, the skin begins to react differently. Because after a certain age, the neck becomes much more delicate toward things that previously seemed to have no effect at all. Another detail that many people overlook is the sun. Many people protect the face with sunscreen, but the neck remains completely exposed for years. And the problem is that the neck receives sunlight practically every day, even when we are driving, walking, or simply being near a window. Little by little, that also influences how the skin loses evenness, elasticity, and natural glow. There are even seemingly harmless habits that end up affecting much more than we imagine. For example, constantly resting the hand on the neck, rubbing it when we are nervous, or even cleaning that area with products that are too strong. They are small daily gestures that seem insignificant until over time they begin to reflect on the texture of the skin. And something important that almost nobody explains is that many people use petroleum jelly incorrectly, and that is why they feel they do not notice a difference. One of the most common mistakes is thinking that the more product they use, the better results they will have. But when too much product is applied, the neck can feel heavy, uncomfortable, or sticky during the night. Another very frequent mistake is doing the massage quickly as if it were just any other cream. And that is exactly where an important part of the trick is, because those 3 minutes not only help distribute the product better, they also help relax the accumulated tension in the neck after the entire day. Many people maintain constant tension in that area without realizing it. That is why when the massage is done slowly, the neck can even feel more rested and relaxed when finished. And besides this trick, there are small daily care habits that can help a lot for the neck to look more beautiful over time. For example, paying attention to how the skin is dried after a shower. Many people rub the towel quickly without imagining how much that damages such thin skin. It also helps a lot to extend any cream or moisturizer down to the neck and not stop only at the jawline. And something that few people do is also protect the neck from the sun. Many times, sunscreen is applied only on the face and the neck remains completely exposed for years. Another important detail is the way we touch the skin. There are people who constantly stretch the neck in front of the mirror, try abrupt movements, or even pull the skin trying to see how it would look firmer. But mature skin usually responds much better to gentle and consistent care than to aggressive movements. Sometimes the most visible changes do not come from doing more things, but from stopping mistreating the skin every day. And something that many women discover too late is that the neck needs consistency more than perfection. It is not about doing impossible treatments or spending enormous amounts of money. Many times, the most beautiful visual improvements appear when a simple routine is maintained for weeks, because the skin responds much better to constant care than to extreme changes. Now, yes, I want to show you the 3-minute petroleum jelly trick that so many women are starting to do before going to sleep. And here there is something important. The result does not depend only on the petroleum jelly. It depends a lot on how it is applied, on the amount that is used, and even on the moment in which you decide to do it. Because yes, many people put any product on the neck quickly, go to bed, and expect miracles. But the skin of the neck usually responds much better when it is treated with more calmness and more gentleness. Before revealing the trick, write, "I'm still here," if you have made it to this part of the video. The first thing you should do is wash the neck gently with warm water, not cold and much less extremely hot. Very hot water can leave the skin more sensitive and make it feel tight or uncomfortable again after a short time. And here is an important detail that almost nobody explains. There is no need to use strong soaps or aggressive exfoliants before this trick. In fact, the more irritated the skin is, the worse it usually reacts afterward. The ideal thing is simply to gently clean the neck to remove sweat, perfume residue, or any product accumulated during the day. After that, dry the neck with a clean towel, but without dragging it. Many people have the habit of rubbing the skin quickly after a shower, without realizing how much that damages such a delicate area. The best thing is to gently press the towel against the skin until removing the excess water. And here comes one of the most important details of the trick. The skin should not remain completely dry. It should feel slightly damp to the touch. Not wet, only with a little moisture still present. Because when petroleum jelly is applied on slightly damp skin, it helps maintain that feeling of softness for many more hours while you sleep. Now take approximately half a teaspoon of petroleum jelly. And yes, that small amount is usually enough. Many people believe that the more product they use, the better results they will obtain. But normally, the opposite happens. When too much petroleum jelly is applied, the neck can feel heavy, sticky, and uncomfortable during the night. There are even people who end up staining the pillow or feeling the skin suffocated from excess product. The idea here is not to cover the neck with a thick layer. The idea is to create a light and even film that helps protect the skin while it rests. Place the petroleum jelly on your fingertips and rub it for a few seconds to soften it a little. That small detail makes a huge difference because it allows it to be distributed more evenly. Many people take the petroleum jelly directly from the container and place it on the neck in thick and cold blocks. But when it is slightly warmed between the fingers, it becomes much easier to work it onto the skin. Then start from the lower part of the neck upward with slow and delicate movements. Always upward. And here I want to pause for a moment because this part changes the visual result a lot. Do not make quick movements. Do not drag the skin to the sides. Do not try to stretch the neck forcefully, thinking that this way you will achieve more firmness. Mature skin usually responds much better to gentle, slow, and consistent movements. Start from the collarbone and slowly move upward toward the jawline. Then go back down and repeat the movement. During those 3 minutes, try to maintain a calm, almost relaxing rhythm, because the massage not only helps distribute the petroleum jelly better, it also helps release part of the tension that the neck accumulates throughout the entire day. And although many people do not notice it, the neck usually remains tense for many hours. Stress, poor posture, spending time in front of the cell phone, or even sleeping badly causes the neck muscles to remain constantly stiff. Has it happened to you that when touching your neck, you feel harder or more tense areas near the jawline or on the sides? That happens a lot. That is why when the massage is done slowly, many women even feel relief or a sensation of rest in that area when finished. And there is another important detail. Dedicate more time to the areas where you notice horizontal lines or where the skin looks thinner. There is no need to press hard. In fact, pressing too much can end up irritating the skin even more. The idea is to work with delicacy and consistency, not with force. Many people do this massage too quickly, as if they were in a hurry to finish. But precisely those 3 calm minutes are an important part of the trick, because besides the product, it also matters to give the skin a moment of real care. And that greatly changes the way the neck looks over time. After finishing, do not lie down on the pillow immediately. Wait at least 5 minutes. That small amount of time allows the skin to take much better advantage of the product and prevents much of the petroleum jelly from ending up absorbed by the fabric. Many people even use those minutes to relax a little before sleeping. Read something calm or simply let the neck rest without bending it immediately. And speaking of that, the sleeping position also influences much more than most people imagine. Sleeping with pillows that are too high causes the neck to remain bent for hours. Over time, that can make certain lines become more marked more quickly. The ideal thing is to use a pillow that allows the neck to remain more relaxed and aligned while you sleep. Now, something important. This trick does not need to be done obsessively every single day. Approximately 4 times per week is usually more than enough for many people. Send this video through WhatsApp to that person who is always looking to appear more cared for and feel better about their skin. Discover the oil you should rub on your skin to eliminate wrinkles and age spots. Click here. See you in the next video.